Hi, everyone, and welcome back to another incredible interview for launch week of our new book, Anatomy of Abundance, A Conscious Guide to Creating Prosperity in All Aspects of Life. Today, I have got a very colorful, pun intended, co-author to introduce you to. Stacey has become a dear friend of mine. She actually came to one of my retreats. We were associates before then, but since then we've developed a much deeper relationship. And now, obviously, through her participation in the book, I've just come to completely adore her, and I know you will too. So Stacey, please introduce yourself. Tell everyone a little bit about you.
All right. Hi, Patrina. And yes, I absolutely enjoyed the retreat and got to know you even better, and such a wonderful person. Hello, everyone. I am Stacey McKay. I am one of these people that have dabbled in many different things, but today I'm going to talk about self-care. But before that, I am a real estate professional and I work at a major aerospace company as a project manager. I've been at the aerospace company for over 25 years, so I'm very, very familiar with different things of the aspect of the aerospace world. And I've been in the real estate professional for over 8 years. So I have a plethora of many things that I do. But with that said, my chapter is on self-care and it's actually called The Moment. So go
Yes.
ahead. Yes.
Well, before we dive into the moment, I just want to pause to acknowledge and share with everybody, or I guess maybe shed light on this for everyone, that one of the main themes of our book is really bringing together that higher law, sometimes, referred to as woo-woo, with more of the practical laws of creating abundance, which is based in data and science and just practicality. And so being an engineer, having an engineering background, being in the real estate industry, it should be pretty obvious that Stacey is very much practical foundational law. So with that
Yes.
said, I just want to ask you this before we jump into your chapter, because you came to my retreat, Pure Abundance Retreat in Belize. And correct me if I'm wrong, but how deep were you into your spiritual journey before then? I know you had some experience, but had you ever experienced that type of a retreat that kind of brought together the higher and lower laws?
No, I had not been in that type of retreat, but what it did for me was even take it even deeper into spirituality and deeper into belief, as the chapter is, self-care, better self-care, because we can always enhance, we can always continue to learn to just take better care of ourselves. And I wanted to pivot a little bit on one of your posts yesterday, day before yesterday, that you sat in the tub and you had a glass of wine. And I was so elated about that, because then the next day you were diving into starting the new year. And I'm like, that's what is called self-care. That's resetting and being able the next day to go, let's do this. So I want to give you kudos for that.
Thank
Thank you.
you. Yeah, this
Yeah.
was the first New Year's Eve in probably a few years where
Mhm.
it was just very internal, with us creating the book and everything around getting the book prepared for launch. And just all of the in-person events, my luncheon and different things that I've actually created in 2023, I felt very out, right? Just very out. I've done a lot of peopling in 2023. And in essence, I'm very internal. I'm very big on sacred self-care. And so I really felt called to just stay in and be very quiet and intentional about 2024. And so what I love about your chapter, and actually the reason I brought up the engineering and the real estate, is because I distinctly remember how you were when we first met. You were still very A-type, very high strung, very like here.
Oh, yeah.
And
Yeah.
since we've met, since you've participated in the retreat, and now being a part of this book, I feel like there's been such an evolution
Yes.
into a more grounded, more self-loving place. So
Yes.
in talking about that, I want you to tie in a little bit about your chapter and your journey to go from this very like focused A-type success driven person to someone who can be very gentle and loving to yourself.
Yeah, and I have an excerpt I'm going to read that
Good.
really turns right into that from my chapter. And it goes like this. I was not living my best life. I was always putting others before myself, overgiving and neglecting my own self-care. I didn't even know at the time what self-care meant before my mom's passing. And I was a people pleaser. So I didn't know how to say no and said yes to too many things, such as invites to events, taking friends places, or assisting them, even though I didn't really have the time or desire to engage. So, yeah, I am an extrovert by nature, but there are times, and I think extroverts can agree, I can be very introverted. Like over this past holiday, I really just did more self-care again. There was absolutely one day I didn't do anything. And I mean, my husband, he knows I'm usually always busy, but when he knows when I don't do anything, he gets it because he's introverted. So he knows, he's like, oh, she's actually just self working on myself. So that's why when you had mentioned what you were doing for New Year's Eve, I'm like, "Ah, these are the things we need to do. These
Yeah.
are the days we just need to not do anything because it will be there tomorrow. It will be there tomorrow.
Oh yeah, 100%. And it's
Yes.
interesting because a lot of people that I speak to, I'm very big on self-care, and part of my self-care is having morning and evening rituals, but also really being intentional about fun. I kind of jokingly call myself the fun fairy, right?
Yes, you do.
Right. But it's amazing how many people are so regimented in their day-to-day responsibilities that
Mhm.
they don't take the time, they don't schedule the time, they don't create the space to take care of themselves. So talk to me a little bit about the before and after, right? So it wasn't
Yeah.
just the Pure Abundance Retreat. I actually met you through our good friend, Essential Anne,
Yes.
and it was actually through her community that we initially connected. So I know that over the last, I feel like it's been maybe 2, 3 years now that we've been
Yeah.
engaging, right? I'd
Yeah.
like to hear the before and after and just share that with people out there who might be in the similar space that you were,
Mhm.
maybe on the verge of burnout, right?
Yep. Yep.
But and
So
what that looks like on the other side.
so what it looks like on the other side, which is very interesting, is because yes, I was very rigid. I mean, to the point where I wasn't, I'll be very honest, I didn't hug people much. I was always more shake their hand, very, very professional. I mean, even my son, even when he was young, would tell me, Mom, you are so professional. But I took it as a compliment, not realizing that what my son was actually saying in me was like, God, my mom is so rigid. She has schedules. She does this. I am a planner by nature, and that's okay.
Yes.
But there's a time when you plan to take care of yourself.
Right.
Because if you don't, like what has happened to me in the past, I got sick. Especially after my mom's passing, I was dealing with that, but yet work, and a lot of people can relate, work seemed to help get me over that. But internally, I was still very, very much not taking care of myself. So when I met Essential Ann, she, basically taught me how to slow down,
Yeah.
meditate, breathe, breath. That woman is just that's my sister from another mother.
That's my earth angel, one of
Yes.
three, one of
Oh,
three earth angels of
absolutely.
mine.
And the interesting thing was, after that, I was also in a different marriage and it wasn't going well. But a lot of us as women, we carry this mask and we really do. And I think part of it is from our childhood, Patrina, where we're supposed to take care of everything. We're supposed to, take care of the kids. We're supposed to do all this, handle everything. But I was like burning out, literally. And when you burn out, you do get sick. You're not focusing on yourself. And then what your attitude is around your environment, people can tell. So when I started to take care of myself, started getting the proper, I went and saw medical advisors after my mom's death because I was dealing not only with my son, who was fine, but I was dealing with a marriage that wasn't going well. Um,
Right.
on top of all that, I was still working and doing, part-time real estate. And I was just like, I can't do this anymore.
Mhm.
And the thing that I want to tell people is we don't always want to wait until we have a life event
Yeah.
to 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 pivot. We want to pivot before that life event. So when a life event strikes us, we have the ability to get through it a
Mm.
lot easier. And I always use the word tools. That's my
Yes.
engineering brain. I use
That's
tools,
that's what was in my head, the tools,
the
exactly.
tools to
Yes.
do that. And one of the things when I went to Belize was I came out of it even better because one, I was around a lot of like-minded people.
Yeah.
That's important too, is to have your inner circle. And I talk about that in my chapter because it's important to have people that in my world are not drama, but they're there to support you. They're there to talk with you if you need to talk. And I made like a promise to myself to pay it forward. So when you asked me to write this chapter, I'm like, this is my time.
Ah,
Universe is telling me, pay it forward. And that's what I'm doing. That's what I'm
yeah.
doing.
I'm so glad you mentioned that because that was going to be one of my questions is what
Yeah.
made you say yes to this book? Because I'm going to be honest, I was shocked. I
I
was like,
know.
wait, what?
Yeah.
Stacey? The
Yeah.
Stacey I know wants to be a part of this. So yeah,
Yes.
that was it. It's just this vow that you made to yourself to share it forward.
To share it forward, and it was part of my bucket list because I wanted to
Ah,
write a book, but I
yes.
was like, how do I even start? And this is kind of like a segue into like, hey, I have a chapter. Let's see how
Mhm.
this goes. And I have another friend that has been helping me, and he wrote another book. And another on Amazon, but it's a Kindle, and he was like super excited, and he was surprised. He's like, "You're writing a book?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm writing. I'm a co-author." He's like, "That's awesome,"
Yeah.
and he kind of went through his story, and this is where you find how people, are actually human, and even though we're in that engineering world, it's like he had his bumps when he wrote. He said he thought that after he started reading other people's books, he was like, I felt I wasn't even worthy of writing. And he goes, I had to get out of that stage too. And I was like, oh my gosh. Um,
Self-doubt.
yeah, self-doubt. And right now, the whole thing of this whole launch, I'm just like, oh my gosh. And my husband, he's going, you're stressing out. I go, I know. I said, because I'm thinking of what I need to do. And he's like, he says, things will be fine. He's like my ground. He is the
Yes.
ground for me because I go flying and he's just like, you'll be fine.
Mm.
But I mean, to write with you, and I think honestly, I love your accountability. I
Mm.
live off accountability. That's just me. But Katrina, I like the fact that you kind of go, and you're not Katrina is not pushy about it. She's just like, hey, are you going to do this? We need you to do that. And I'm just like, all right, I got this. I can do it. I can
I
do it.
always
Yeah.
say I lovingly kick people in the ass.
Yeah.
Because I definitely do hold people accountable. It's part of the anatomy of abundance framework, right?
Yes.
Accountability and support.
Oh
You
my
you can
gosh.
hold people accountable and be supportive at the same time in a very loving way where people
Hmm.
know that you have their best interest at heart. And I
Yes.
think that's where when we separate the higher law, the more woo-woo spiritual stuff from
Hmm.
the practical, more foundational laws of creating abundance, I think that's where we get screwed up, right?
Yes.
Because we really should be, I hate the word should, we really thrive when we are living an integrated life, right?
Yes.
When we're a factor, when we're connected with ourselves, we're connected with spirit, we're connected with others,
Hmm.
and we're very focused on what it is that we're looking to achieve, right? So it's
Yes.
not an either or, it's an and I feel like in your former current world
Hmm.
of corporate America, they almost don't leave space for you to be a human being. They don't
Sometimes
honor
they don't.
as
Yeah.
a human being in a lot of cases. So
Mhm.
how then have you juggled still being in aerospace engineering in your corporate job,
Hmm.
continuing in your real estate business, and writing this book? Because I know this was so out of your comfort zone. What were some of the practices or things that you did to kind of get through this process and successfully complete?
So some of this I have learned through the spiritual self-care portion of it, that every morning I do certain things like journal, and I don't care if it's even like 3 sentences. I just write something down just to start my day. And then I remember now, when pre aerospace, when I was, I'll say pre-COVID, when I was just not living my best life, I was so rigid. It's like I felt I had to stick to a schedule. And if I didn't stick to that schedule, I failed myself. So a lot of it is internal. I
Yeah.
was failing myself. Now I don't feel that way. Now I go, these are the things I'm going to do today. If I get to them, that's fine, but I prioritize, and I also still, take that time to meditate in the morning, to do some yoga and keep it moving. One of the things I do, and I know everyone is not this way, but not every day, but I do go work out. I'm considered at the 5 a.m. club. I have a trainer that she is just absolutely wonderful, and I show up at 5 in the morning.
Hmm.
It gets my day going. That doesn't necessarily mean everybody's got to do that,
Right.
but what I used to do and what I do now, when I come home, I'm not stressed. When I come home, I have made it so that my job in the corporate world does not carry into my home life. That was not me prior. Now it is. And I'm not sure if it's because I feel I'm more on the side of retiring, and I spend a lot more time now with real estate. In fact, I have a really great investor that I work with. So it makes my life a lot easier. They're great people. But I mean, Patrina, to see who I was prior and to see
Yeah.
who I am now, a
Yeah.
lot of people are just like, oh my gosh, she's such the great person. And, there's still times when people see me, I still put my hand out because it's just a gesture, but they're like, I'm a hugging person. Like Linda Sunshine, she goes, I'm a hugging person. I'm like, oh, great. So I just, I give her a hug. But I mean, if you were to know me prior, that was not the way I was. I was not a very affectionate person.
Yeah.
So yeah. Yeah.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
But I do find that the more connected you are with yourself, the more you trust yourself, the
Yes.
more loving you are to yourself, then the more loving you can be to other people. So
Oh,
you kept
absolutely.
using this word rigid, and rigidity is like it's firm, but it easily breaks, right?
Yes.
In life, to be abundant, we need to be flexible, we need to be
Yep.
malleable, right? We
Mhm.
have this ability to be both all the
Yes,
time, you know?
absolutely.
I love that. And there's so many things actually that you said that I kind of want to touch on, but we don't have a ton of time.
Mhm.
But I do want to just speak to, you said, I don't know if it's because I'm close to retirement or what. I don't think that's the case. I think from listening to you and from just understanding your journey,
Mhm.
that you've done the work to heal your inner beliefs and stories that you had about yourself, and the
Yeah.
things that you should do or that you have to do to
Mhm.
maybe be successful or be loved or whatever that looks like for you, that
Mhm.
worthiness piece.
Mhm.
And I think you also have done a really great job at healing your people pleaser, which is stemmed in the worthiness. And so I think that as people read your chapter, especially with some of the challenges that you went through, and she
Mhm.
goes into all of that in the book, I think they'll really be inspired, because I believe that there's going to be a lot of people who are more on the practical side who read this book and who
Mhm.
will connect with you,
Mhm.
which is what I love about the book, is that we have
Yeah.
so many different backgrounds, cultures, personalities, like everything. And so anyone who reads the book is going to connect with someone's stories. And then there's going to be someone else who provides the data, the facts, the foundational stuff to actually support it. So, yeah, so excited.
Yeah.
Oh my
I
gosh.
am
I am
super
so
excited.
yeah, me as well. So if you haven't already purchased your book, go to go.patrinawisdom.com/abundance, or you can purchase the book on your favorite book platform, Amazon, Barnes and Noble, Goodreads. We don't care. We just want you to purchase the book, read
Absolutely.
the book, buy multiple copies, share it with friends. I guarantee you this is going to be a book that you revisit minimally annually because it's a guide. So with that, I want you to share, Stacey, just what you feel is the result of someone reading the book. What's in it for them? Not just with your chapter, but just as a whole, reading the chapters from all these amazing women. What do you feel like is on the other side for them?
Oh my gosh, I feel that what's on the other side after you've read this book, and it doesn't matter what age you are, I'm going to put that out there, does not matter. This will assist you on not, I hate to say, not waiting for a life event where
Yeah.
you got to figure it out. This is like tools to help you to not just with self-care, but finance. Oh my gosh, this book has a neuroplasticity. Um, it just will assist you in moving forward. I mean, catapulting basically, because it's anatomy of abundance. That the abundance right there is a great word, because that means you can take whatever's in this book and you can read it and you can take what you like and leave the rest. There's just nothing about this book that I don't think is gonna be a bad thing. Trust me. I think it's gonna just catapult everyone, not just our authors, but people that read it. And I have my friends that are excited about it. So I'm getting it out there. That's the other thing, Patrina, I'm also doing is speaking, communicating, telling people about the book. And I'm just like, oh,
Not
this
keeping
is
it
new for me
secret.
too. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I love it. I'm actually really glad you said that because I believe that that's one of the barriers. I feel like this book is going to help people get unstuck. Whatever it is, whatever's blocking them from moving maybe into a relationship, into a
Yep.
new career, maybe that people want to travel and they just haven't been traveling or whatever it is, right? Whatever
Mhm.
that you need to unlock that next level of abundance, whatever that looks like for you, I believe this book is going to do it. And wow, what did I say that? Because you said something that triggered a thought, and then I got sidetracked. But oh, I remember what I was going to say. I was going to say that I'm actually blown away. As the person who kind of produced and put together the book,
Mhm.
I'm blown away by how impactful the book has been for all of us, the authors, through the writing process, but also coming together in community and
Mhm.
just really bringing together these masterful minds. So the energy and the potency of the book is such that I have no doubt that anyone who reads this, that it's going to be magical for them because of just the intention that created it. So
Yes.
anyways, with that, I will say stay tuned because we have more incredible interviews with more of our co-authors. Stacey, let everybody know how they can find you if they want to learn more about you.
So you can connect with me on Instagram at it's just real basic StaceymMckay. Basically, it's my whole name, Stacey M. McKay. That's
Oh,
it.
easy peasy. Okay,
Easy.
wonderful. And don't forget, when you purchase your copy of the book, or your copies, we'll say, we
Mhm.
have bonuses from all 16 authors. Don't forget to claim your bonuses. All right, we will see you again tomorrow during launch week for Anatomy of Abundance, a conscious guide to creating prosperity in all aspects of life. Thanks for joining. Thank you, Stace. Have a good
Thank
one.
you. You too.